Athletes, welcome back to another fantastic day of working out. We've got full body with a little bit of isolation work planned for you. So get ready and let's go. Athletes, your warm-up starts now. What we're gonna start out with are regular air squats. So I want you to stance yourself out to where you squat at, and let's go ahead and start getting below parallel. It could be early, you could have just gotten off of work. So we're gonna start out nice and simple, explore that range of motion, still up and down. If you're having difficulty getting below parallel, you guys can grab a box or something similar and go down to. What we're gonna start moving into now are gonna be jumping air squats. So we're gonna go back into our air squats, and at the top, we're gonna get some clearance from the floor. You can go as high or as close to the floor as you want, but we're just looking at getting full range of motion below parallel and getting full extension through our hips. I'm gonna have our athletes here go through another 5 reps, so keep working through them. Keep working through them. We've got TJ and Clara back in the studio once again. So if you've got a favorite athlete you like to keep up with, then this is your selection for today. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start working through some toe taps with shoulder taps. So we're gonna go down to our toes, and then we're gonna stand up, touching our hands to our shoulders. I'm gonna have athletes go through this consistently for 20 seconds or so. We've got bicep curls today, so we're just making sure that we're getting extension and flexion through our elbows, and we're also warming up our posterior chain by going down to the floor. I'm gonna have TJ turn to the side as he does a few more reps, and you can notice that he's loading his hips by going back, but he's also keeping his hips relatively high to get a nice stretch reflex through his hamstrings. Next, what I'm gonna have athletes do is we're gonna relax, we're gonna go down to the floor, and we're gonna go through some hand release push-ups. Now, we're gonna have Clara go through regular push-ups, so she's gonna go all the way down to the floor, lift her hands off at the bottom, and then press back up. TJ has push-ups to his knees. When we're going through this, we're warming up triceps for those skull crushers that we have. We want to make sure we get all the way down to the floor, lift those hands up, and then we're gonna press through again. I'm gonna have athletes go through another 10 seconds of this. So really just take inventory of your body at this point. We're gonna be going through those full body movements that we had talked about, and then we're also having that isolation work on our arms. So we wanna make sure that the machine feels good and ready to perform. I'm gonna have athletes go ahead and rest. We're gonna go ahead and stand up, and we're gonna finish off with one more set of jumping squats. So we're gonna go back down. I'm gonna have athletes count out 10 reps here. So if you wanna speed these up as you go through your reps, you're welcome to, or you can stay the same speed, but this is the time to add a little bit of intensity. We're starting to get that heart rate up because our workout is just about to begin. TJ is finishing up, and now we are ready for the main event. The workout is coming up. Grab your water, turn your cell phone on silent, and get ready to throw down. And our workout is starting now, athletes. We've got 10 seconds on the clock. I want you to go ahead and get yourself prepared. We are starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. We are starting with our scaled and RX athletes today. We've got Clara working through dumbbell overhead squats. So she is gonna have that dumbbell positioned overhead. She's going through 8 reps on one side, 8 reps on another. A couple points on this movement that we wanna take a look at is that Clara has her feet turned out in a position that allows her to get down below parallel. She also has this dumbbell overhead locked out, and if you have difficulty keeping this position, you can let that dumbbell tip back slightly, and that will allow you to balance over your center if you're having problems with trying to keep that dumbbell horizontal. Next, what we have is that we're going into a crush grip dumbbell curl. So what we've got here is that Clara is bent over slightly so she can get full range of motion in her arms. She's coming up, and if you think about taking that dumbbell to right before you get to complete closure of that elbow, it's gonna keep tension on the bicep. So you choose how difficult you wanna make this. We want elbows slightly in front of the body, so don't let them sneak back on you, and that's gonna isolate on those biceps. So keep a steady pace here. Make sure that you guys have chosen a weight that is gonna allow you to get through all 16 reps unbroken, and then you're gonna rest for 1 minute. Now, if Clara finds out that she went too heavy, we do have other dumbbells on standby, so she can always drop down in weight if she needs to, and we want you guys to do that as well. We never sacrifice form for weight, so if you start feeling yourself beginning on the edges or fringes of burning out, take a quick rest in the middle of that set, pick your weight back up, or move down to a lighter weight. After this minute of rest is done, athletes are gonna go into their second set, and we have 3 sets total for today. TJ is gonna be doing are body weight overhead squats. So if you guys have issues with overhead mobility, or it's difficult just for you to keep something overhead when you're going down into the bottom of the squat, the body weight option is gonna be great for you. TJ's got his arm extended overhead, and we are thinking about having your grandmother's glass figurine, the elephant you were never allowed to touch as a child because you get in trouble, in his hand, and if he drops that hand, he drops that glass figurine. So we don't wanna get in trouble. So we're keeping that arm fully extended overhead, palm towards the ceiling. And if you want a more simple and you had a good childhood, then you can think about a glass of water being in your hand instead of that terrible elephant glass figurine. After we get done with these single arm overhead squats, we are going into banded bicep curls. Now, banded bicep curls can be tricky because all bands are a little bit different, but TJ is using one side of the band to step on, and then he's holding on to the other sides. We can adjust the tension here. So the closer we get to our feet on the band, then it's gonna increase the tension that we have there. We can also close our feet together and get them closer for less tension, and we can go wider with our feet to increase that tension. So you guys choose what feels like is a good challenge. And the same thing with the bicep, we're able to do our 16 reps relatively unbroken. If we find that we're starting to get to burnout state, adjust the tension on that band so that you guys are able to take a quick rest and then move back through, but stay consistent here. Both athletes are done with their second set, so they're taking their 1 minute rest. During this time, I never want you guys to sit down. I want you to move around. You can do the side steps like our athletes are doing. You can do like Clara, she's thinking about the rest of her day, what she's gonna do after this. We have like 7 or 8 more workouts that we have to do, so she's thinking about those. This is TJ's only workout. We try to keep it light on him. It's difficult to get him into the studio, such a busy schedule, but we've got our third set coming up. Athletes, I want you to try to match the same pacing that you established in sets 1 and 2. After this, we got a brand new 3 sets that we're gonna be doing, and we'll get to that description in just a moment. So as we finish up with our 1 minute rest, take a nice deep breath here, and I want you to get ready to perform your final set in our first set of 3. TJ's back into those overhead squats, body weight only. Again, we're thinking about keeping that arm nice and extended overhead as if we had weight in our hand or we had that glass of water. We've got Clara going through her dumbbell overhead squats. Again, you can notice the slight tilt she has on the dumbbell. That will help you keep that over your center so that you can get down below parallel. If this dumbbell overhead squat is too difficult for you, do not try to force it. Don't get to a place that's gonna crank down on your shoulder. If you need to lower that down to your shoulder and do a single arm dumbbell squat, you're welcome to modify that way as well. This is our option that we can modify to. We've got TJ already on our banded bicep curls. What a machine. Keep going, TJ. Give the camera a smile. Wonderful. You guys are doing great at home. Keep this pacing here. We've got our full body pieces with these squats that we're doing, and then we're moving into that isolation. I'm gonna have Clara move her elbows forward slightly to maintain isolation on her biceps. If we begin to pull those elbows back, then what happens is that we do less of a curl and it's more of a pull. So we do wanna make sure we're focusing on those biceps. Now, TJ is done, Clara is done. We are moving into our second 3 sets. For TJ's workout, what he has are 8 jumping split squats. It's gonna be 8 on each side, left and right, and then he's gonna be going into 16 box dips. So he's found the height that works well for him. We'll talk about the form when I get him into it. But the most important thing on our box dips is that we keep our shoulders in a nice strong position. For Clara, what she's gonna be going into is our power cleans with the dumbbell. She's got 8 on each side, or 16 total, and when we go through this, she will alternate sides. After that, she's gonna go into 16 dumbbell skull crushers, and we're gonna use that crush grip again, just like we did with our bicep curls. So, grab some water really quick if you need it, because this minute goes by fast, and we are getting into our next 3 sets. So with our split squats, we're gonna have our feet lunged out so that they're gonna be in this split position, and then TJ is squatting below parallel on that single leg. Then he's going to hop the top. Again, distance from the floor does not matter here. You guys can stay as close to the floor as you like. This is something that we don't want you to go crazy with and jump as high as possible, because we do want to maintain safety with this movement. We've got Clara going through our power cleans here. And again, it's 16 total, or 8 on each side. Clara is using the transition of transitioning in the air. If you need to, you can transition at the floor. We'll show us on this next rep, just like that. So choose what you feel the safest with. If you got to be careful with the floor at your house and you're worried about dropping a dumbbell, switch on the floor. That's going to be the best option for you if you're doing that transition someplace where you can't drop a dumbbell, because we never plan on dropping the weights, but sometimes it happens. TJ just finished up with our box steps. We've got Clara going into our skull crushers. With these skull crushers, she extends the dumbbell overhead, and you want to think about keeping those elbows pointed towards the ceiling and coming down to roughly our forehead or our hairline. You can see that she does a great job of keeping her upper arm pointed straight up, and then we're keeping all of that motion through our elbow. Again, we're isolating on triceps here, so this one can get pretty dirty pretty quick. So we want to make sure that you're using the appropriate weight. If you get to a place that we are potentially going to burn out, we do not want to burn out with the dumbbell over our face. So if you need to rest, you can bring that down to your chest for just a second and then extend over again and go through our next few reps. Athletes have a 1 minute rest again. You guys are doing great. We are doing great in the studio. We got 2 more sets left. TJ is back into his jumping split squats. If these jumping split squats do not work for you and it's something that's causing issues with your hips or knees, you're welcome to change to a regular jumping squat, and then we can go through 16 reps total there. TJ's doing a great job of keeping those heels on the floor as we go down. He's getting full extension at the top. And again, the distance from the floor does not matter. We just want to get clearance with that floor. Next, TJ is moving to his box for these box steps. Now, in this position, I want TJ to keep his chest up. If we extend our legs out too far, it can tend to get us in an unsafe position with our shoulders. So only if you have the mobility for it, I'll go out to that more challenging position, but we've got TJ with those feet in, knees are bent, so use your legs for as much or as little assistance during this movement that you need. Again, the most important thing is that the shoulder stays loaded back in a safe position versus rotating forward in that socket. We've got Clara back on her skull crushers. With these skull crushers and with the dips, breathing is always super, super important, and we can hear Clara breathing out every time that she extends with that dumbbell and then back down. Again, make sure that you have a firm grip on this dumbbell, because the last thing that we want to do is mess this up, so we want to stay safe. So if you need to rest momentarily, bring it down to your chest for just a second, and then you can go back into your next couple reps. We always have dumbbells on standby so that we can modify, because it is never a bad thing to go down in weight. It's actually the mark of a mature athlete to know when you need to modify the weight or when you need to take a quick rest versus trying to go beyond what your absolute limits are. Next, what we got is our third set. So we're flying through this. This is our last one. When our athletes finish up this minute rest, we will be into the final round. TJ's setting up for these split squats. On our split squats, you notice that he does keep that back knee touching the floor with each rep. If you guys have difficulty with that range of motion, then you can go down as far with that knee as you feel comfortable. So don't force a position, but if we need to be in this position, I can slow TJ down for his last couple reps, then we can do a regular split squat here. So you have options, choose what works best for you. Claire's back on her power cleans. Again, using that mid-air transition, use what you feel the most comfortable with. If you have difficulty with the transitions and you want to develop that skill, watching your hands is a great thing to improve hand-eye coordination. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you can do the cool guy or cool girl thing and not watch the dumbbell, but we want safety as the #1 priority. So as you're developing the skill, use what works best for you. TJ just finished up with these dips. We've got Clara going into her final set of skull crushers. This is a tough one. I did this one before we did this workout in the studio, and it will blow your arms up. So we want to make sure that we're being safe here. Last couple reps, Clara is looking like a champ, making it look easy. If you guys are still working at home, make sure that you get full range of motion. Go all the way. I know that it can be tempting that if we finish in the studio, that you guys want to finish there, but we want every single one of those reps. Clara is done. TJ is done, and that concludes the workout for today. You guys did amazing. Athletes, wonderful job once again today. You guys did fantastic. I know we got a great workout in the studio, and we are happy as always to have you join us. If you guys enjoyed today's workout and you are not a part of the Mayhem Athlete community, we welcome you to join us. The Mayhem Athlete community is a community of like-minded athletes that have different goals ranging from CrossFit to bodybuilding to at-home workouts to workouts on the road and hotels. If you're traveling for work, we have everything that you could possibly want. So if you're not a part of this community and you want to find a group of like-minded individuals that will not only encourage you and challenge you on your way to your goals, this is what you need to do. So join Mayhem Athlete, be a part of this, and join us for our next workout. Now, the most important part, I always say this, is that you need to do your mobility just like you need to eat your vegetables. So you will find your mobility linked here, somewhere in this space. So make sure you stick around and take care of that, because your body took care of you, so now take care of your body. As always, be a kind person, be good, and join us again for our next workout.